effects. This is Sancita Brujo Luis, and forgive that I look like a hot mess. I just woke up. I'm still having my coffee. But I got a package this morning from a Facebook friend and a follower a YouTuber. I don't know if she's a YouTuber, but she is a follower of mine on YouTube. She has an internet presence. I'm going to leave her link down below. It's called Dark Moon Spells. If I said that wrong, I'm just want to, right now from this, just apologize. But she's a sculptor. She's a bruja. She's Spanish. I know she's Spanish. And something else. Terrie, I'm sorry. I just woke up. I'm only on my first cup. I need 3 cups of coffee before I can be able to talk. But anyways, her name is Terrie, and so she's a sculptor. She sculpts statues of saints, of anything that you want. So she contacted me. She said, I would like to sculpt something for you. I see that you do a lot of videos for people, and so I would like to sculpt something and paint something for you. What would you like? And I was like, you don't have to, I'll pay for it. She's like, no, I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it. And okay, I was touched. I thought that was really sweet. And so I said, sure, I want this. I described what I wanted to a T. And so she worked with me. And so I just got it today. I'm going to open it up for the first time. Let me have un poquito más café. Again, I just woke up. I look like a hotmess.com. But I'm going to go open it up, check it out, see what I got. She kept it a surprise for me. She sculpted. I'm going to leave all her links down below that she sent me to share. And I shouldn't be working with sharp objects on 1 cup of coffee, especially when I woke up. So give me a moment because I got to really focus on this, okay? I opened up the package, and the first thing that I see are worms. You ever see Graveyard Girl? Anybody see Graveyard Girl? She opens up a package. She's one of my favorite YouTubers. Opens up a package. She's like, worms, worms, worms everywhere. There's worms. This is me in the morning. This worms. Graveyard Girl. I love her. That's one of my. That's one of the channels that I enjoy. I'm gonna save these worms. All right, but. This is a package from Terrie Leah. She has an internet. She's a Spanish bruja. She is a sculptor. She is a medium. She reads. She's a psychic. So she reached out to me. She said, I want to sculpt something for you. So I said, sure. I was at first, I was like, no, you don't have to. And she's like, I'm going to send this to you. And I said, if you send this to me, then at least let me do a video to promote you. I love to promote my fellow brujos, my artisans, my people, my young and upcoming witches, anybody, spiritualists. I believe as an elder, I'm getting there. I'm not even going to tell you my age, but I'm getting there to be Don Luis. I like to promote. I like to talk about the younger coming generations. So I'm going to carefully remove all these worms. Shout out to the Graveyard Girl. If you haven't seen her channel, she's one of my favorite channels. But I'm going to carefully open this up. Actually, I'm going to do this right here on camera. Remove the box. I made a mess with worms. This was an unexpected video. Alright, I'm going to have to put the camera down because it's nice and tied up. So give me one more second. Oh, what can I say? Se me para los pelos. I mean, look at this. This is the sculpture that she did for me. It's got a wooden base, and I can still feel the paint on it. Oh, it smells beautiful. Look at this. This is La India Tibisay. A lot of people are going to be wondering, who is La India Tibisay? Probably a lot of people have never heard of La India Tibisay. I have to take a moment because, like, this is beautiful. Qué cosa tan bella. Look at this. I wish you could see it. There's no describing what a beautiful. This is a unique, piece that painted just for me, sculpted just for me. She worked with what I wanted. I sent her pictures. Terrie, which I'm going to leave a link down below. She does saints and sculptures, and she's a fellow Latina bruja, a Spanish witch. I have to take a moment because I have to really just focus on this for just 1 second, because this is just too beautiful. It's got that H. You feel el H, the energy in esta India. Que cosa tan linda. And then I'm going to describe who she is. I just love her so much. I can't believe it. Look at the flowers on the water, and look at she's sitting on the rock. El pozo. I'm gonna try to describe who La India. I'm just like, for the first time, I don't know what to say. I'm like el gato tiene mi lengua. The cat has my tongue. Is that how you say it in English? Let me stop this for a second. So let me try to describe La India Tibisay. In Venezuela, in the Maria Leonza tradition of Espiritismo in Venezuela, it's a folk tradition that's similar to Espiritismo Criollo from Puerto Rico, Santerismo, Sanse. But in Venezuela, they have a comisión, or they call it a corte, of group of spirits, water spirits, and most of them are Indias. You have La India Tibisay, La India Mara, La India Rosa. And when I went to Venezuela 17 years ago, I had gone with a Banco Mario Leoncero, Mauricio. His name is Mauricio. He lives in Boston. He's a Banco Mario Leoncero. He works with the Maria Leonza tradition. I'll show you Maria Leonza in a little bit. But when he took me to Venezuela and we took the trek up the mountain, the sacred mountain of the goddess Maria Leonza, I had gone under a waterfall to receive one of the puntos, as how we say in Puerto Rican Sanse, one of the baptisms. And one of the spirits that took over la materia, my body, was this India, La India Tibisay. Okay, very similar to in Sanse and in Espiritismo, we have a similar river spirits of the sweet waters. Her name is Cachita Tumbo. Cachita Tumbo is mi India en cabeza, mi espíritu de la cabeza, la jefa, the chief of my head. So La India Tibisay is very similar to Cachita Tumbo. You know, in Puerto Rico we have Cachita Tumbo, and in Venezuela they have La India Tibisay. They have their group of spirits. Los Indios have many different cortes. You have los Indios, you have los Vikingos, you have los Bárbaros, you have los Negros, los Africanos. It just goes so forth and so on. In Espiritismo, we also have comisiones. We call them comisiones. We have la Comisión de los Indios, we have la Comisión de los Negros, la Comisión de los Piratas, la Comisión de los Árabes. My comisión principal or división principal is Indio. Indio division is my first division. It's going to be complicated. A lot of people are not going to understand that. She is very similar, La India Tibisay, who is a water spirit, a Native American water spirit, pre-Columbian, who rules over fresh waters, sweet waters, Agua Dulce, and similar to Sanse, which we have Cachita Tumbo, which is my Indian cabeza, my jefa, the chief, the one that I always go to. That's my mom. So very similar energies, very similar spirits. So when I was in Venezuela and I had gone under this pozo, a pozo is a waterfall, and I was getting that punto. I was getting that, receiving that punto. This India, esta India aquí, she took over my materia. She took over my body, and by her taking over my body, I became baptized. She became more like a mother, a protectress, protectress, a guía, a guide, una protectora of mine in my cuadro espiritual. I'm throwing a lot of terms because, like, I'm holding the spirit. I'm holding this statue, and I'm shaking because it's just so powerful. It's just so beautiful. So I'm trying to describe it the best that I can, and I'm going to show you a little bit, by her side. Terrie Leah, you did an amazing job. I'm just gonna just stop it for a second because I'm just like, I can't focus with her next to me. That's just how powerful esta India is. Qué linda la India Tibisay. On my trip when I was in Venezuela, I had purchased two statues which did not make it to the United States. They came home in my bag, completely destroyed. One was, of course, of La India Tibisay. I purchased a statue in a botanica in Venezuela of La India Tibisay because she took over me, and of course, I wanted to bring that memory of this beautiful spirit with me to the United States. I bought a La India Tibisay, and of course, I brought a statue of Maria Leonza, La Tres Potencia, which right here you have Maria Leonza, el Negro Felipe, y el Indio Guaycay Puro. Sadly to say, none of these two statues made it to the United States. They were broken completely. So Mauricio, el Banco Espiritista, el Banco Marioloncero, he could find me. He found me this statue right here, and he gave it as a gift. And but the two that I brought from Venezuela, they didn't make it to the United States. They were completely broken. So I didn't have a memory of La India Tibisay until this moment, till Terrie, Leah, who I'm going to leave a link down below. You got to contact her if you want her to sculpt you something. She said, just out of the blue, I want to sculpt something for you. You do so much to, you give so freely. Let me sculpt something for you. And the first thing that popped into my mind, so let me just pop this idea to her. And she did an amazing job, La India Tibisay. Very similar to a spirit in Sanse, Puerto Rican Sanse, which we call Cachita Tumbo. Cachita Tumbo. There's a reason why La India Tibisay and Cachita Tumbo, they're very similar spirits. But I'm going to go a little bit into the Taino spirituality, the Taino Cemis, the spirits in the Taino culture in Puerto Rico and the Caribbean. The Taino, right now we're in the spring. It's May. This is a perfect season right now for the Tainos. This would have been known as the rain season. Then we come into the dry season. Then we come into hurricane season. This is the season of the river spirits for the Tainos, and this was the time of fertility, when Taino women and men would make love and women would get pregnant. And of course, the mother goddess, the mother Cemi, Atabe, would make women fertile. Okay, Atabe had many children, Cemi. Okay, there was three that we're going to go into this one right here. I'm just going to hold on to the statue right here. There was three, and there was, oh my God, I'm going to forget. Guavanex was the wind mother. Okay, she was the wind mother. And Guavanex had two allies with her. There was Guataba. Guataba was the thunder and lightning spirit. And then there was Coatrish. And Coatrish was the river spirit, the sweet water spirit. So Cachita Tumbo, after 500 years, the Cemi names were forgotten, and so Coatrish became Cachita Tumbo. Cachita, the word Cachita it's a changing of the word Cacique. Cacique means a female chieftain. So her name became Cachita Tumbo. Coatriz, the river spirit, was a peaceful spirit until Guavanex, the wind mother, and Guataba, the thunder and lightning spirit, got into arguments and fights. And when they would get into arguments and fights, they would create torrential downpour. And Coatrice, her stomach, her belly would swell, and the water would drown whatever was near. Now understand that Taino villages were often by rivers. They needed the fresh waters, so that they would have to move literally away from the river, because the river's spirit, Coatrice, would swallow, would tumbar, would knock down everything. She would swallow everything. So Cachita Tumbo became, and Coatrice became Cachita Tumbo. And then there's Guavanesh, like I said, she is the wind, Guavanex, the wind mother. And then there's Guataba. Guataba was the thunder and lightning spirit. When they got together and they got into those big battles, they would create the Cemi known as Huracan. Huracan, we all know that word today, hurricane. So they would create the Cemi known as Huracan, the spirit of fierce winds. Okay, so just wanted to add a little bit of Taino spirituality into the video. It is May season. This is the season of Cachita Tumbo. It is spring. Life is coming up. So what better time to receive this statue than in her season, which is spring. And then we celebrate her last around September. Here in the United States, it's hurricane season. It's time to really appease her, because now hurricane season is going to come up, and now she's going to start swallowing people up. You know, the rivers would swell up, and she would swallow up whole villages. So the Tainos would offer to the river spirits to kind of appease her before the Huracan spirit would come, which was during the hurricane season. So anyways, this is just Taino spirituality. You got to understand that much of Taino spirituality was destroyed, and so these are just little bits and pieces of what people can collect from the Taino spirituality that we could. But La India Tibisay to me represents that similar energy to Cuatrish or Cachita Tumbo. And what a beautiful statue. I'm going to show you her completely, just so you can see it. And again, she is part of La Maria Leonza tradition, which is an aspect of Espiritismo practiced in Venezuela. And this is La Tres Potencia. Right in the center is Maria Leonza. You have El Negro Felipe. And you have El Indio Huaycay Puro. Okay? I love this statue. I'm happy that I have her to be part of my tablea espiritual, my spiritual guides, mi cuadro espiritual. This is not the spirit; it's a representation of that spirit. It's a representation of that love that I have for that energy, which is the sweet waters of the earth. Similar to in Santeria, they have Ochum. So Cachita Tumbo in Santeria or Afro-Caribbean Cuban traditions, Cachita, the Native American Cachita became intertwined with the African Ochun, her mythology, and so she became a vuelta, a camino of Ochun. So I just wanted to show you, it's beautiful. I love her. There's also similar spirits in Palo Mayombe. I'm not a palero, so I can't really speak too much on the Palo Mayombe tradition or the spirits that they honor. But there's a similar aspect or road to Ochun in Palo Mayombe known as Mama Chola. Chola is not an African word. It is a Native American word, una chola. So Chola Wenge is she would be like a half African, half Arawak native spirit. She became two spirits. She's got the African Ochun with the Taino or the Arawak Cuatrish, and they became intertwined. Their mythologies became as Mama Chola, Mama Wenge. Now, mind you, I'm not a palero. I'm not an expert in this tradition, so I'm not disrespecting any paleros or any tatas. You know, it's just, let's be honest. Chola, the word chola is not an African word. Chola is a word that is indigenous in the Caribbeans and all through South and Central America to represent. Often it is what they call una indiacita, una cholita, una chola. So they got Mama Chola or Chola Wenge, which is the palo. There's many branches of Palo Mayombe, but the Palo Mayombe traditions or Palo Monte as Chola Wenge, which is a mix between the African Ochun and the indigenous Cuatrish, who became, you know, those two mythological deities became as one. Okay, so similar to what happened in Venezuela and many parts of Latin America. So I'm just going to show you this beautiful statue. I'm holding it. I love her. Look at the base. And I just need, you guys got to check this out. I'm going to show her to you as slowly as I can. And I love her. Terrie, Terrie Leah, I'm going to leave you your link down below. If you want something sculptured from her, she'll work with you. Highly recommend it. What a perfect time for spring. It is time of the Indians, los Taino, los Cemi, yukayeque, the Cemi of the yuca was born now in the spring season. This is a beautiful time to receive such a beautiful gift from her. I will treasure her for the rest of my life. I love her very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. I hope I described all I could in this one video that just took me by storm. I just like, when I saw the box it came in, I was like, wow, I was excited. Let me show you her quietly. Que cosa tan bonita. I'm going to add her some Pompeya perfume and perfumarla bien bonita. Probably put her un collarcito or something. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave the link down below. I just want to show you La India Tibisay. Look at the craftsmanship. Look at the water. And then the stones. She came out beautiful. Amazing. Now, the time that Christopher Columbus came to the Caribbean, there were two caciques. Okay, one was in Behique, and her name was Yuisa. Okay, you know, Boricuas, study your history, learn who these Indios were. Okay, so there was Yuisa in Behique. Behique is Puerto Rico. She was one cacique. Another cacique was Anacaona, and Anacaona was in Haiti, the land of Haiti, which is now Haiti. Okay. This India Tibisay, even though she's from Venezuela, you know, she represents my connection to all my Indian spirits, all my feminine in energy Indian spirits of Agua Dulce, sweet waters, whether it's India Tibisay, whether it is Cachita Tumbo, Yuisa, Ochun, Mamachola, whatever Indian spirit you want to name her, this is what it represents. Look at, I mean, it's very unique. She's got her golden colors, her pink, all her favorite colors, and the water, el agua dulce, the sweet waters coming from the mountains. Right here. She represents the waterfall. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful belleza. Look at the eyebrows. Qué linda. Thank you, Terrie. Now, in closing this video, I want to just show you that I'm just going to consecrate the statue. Now, there's simple, you'll see things on the altar where I'm going to consecrate her. This right here, this is a frog that I'm going to paint. The frog is very sacred to, the frogs and little toads are very sacred to the mother of the Cemis, you know, Ataveira. So this is just an instrument that I'm going to paint. You can see right here, La India. I have her water, I have her candles. La India, they love their Pompeya. And often, carefully, they are called with one of these conch shells, horns. Okay, before closing the video, let me put this carefully down. Before closing the video, I want to talk also, you cannot talk about the Indian spirits, La India, without talking about las ciguapas. Siguapas were a Taino mythological creature, similar to undines and water nymphs, naiads, and not so much like mermaids. Mermaids were more saltwater, but they were more like undines, water nymphs, and naiads. The Siguapas were a group of spirits, and the word Siguapa is a corruption of the Taino word Siguaya. In Taino tradition, and in Taino spirituality and their tradition, the Siguapas were often naked women who lived in the bottom of rivers and lakes. They often had long hair, long feet, and often one of the feet was inverted. Okay, so you can see that she has one feet showing and the other one is hidden. Okay, often they come out like that. So when you see an India mount a person, often the person who's getting mounted by La India will often invert a foot. Okay, which kind of demonstrates a little bit of their connection with the Siguapa spirits. The Siguapa spirits were known as, like I said, undines and water nymphs, and they were often spirits of magic. Some also call them ancient priestesses. The Siguapas or the Siguayas were similar, like I said, to undines and elemental water spirits from their European cousin traditions. And often they walked backwards when they would come into the material world. In order to go back into the world of the spirit, their feet would go inverted so that they can go back into the world of the spirit backwards. So they would go back into the world of the spirit looking forward, but their feet would be backwards and they would walk backwards into the water. Many of the Siguapas were ancient priestesses, water nymphs. Some were women Taino women, Arawak women, who lost their lives maybe through rape by the Spanish or whatever it may be. So I could not end this video without talking about Las Siguapas. And if you can see the statue, it is covered. I'm going to turn on the light just to close the video and show you the instruments that I use to call on this spirit. Now, in closing the video, because I always remember one last thing that I wanted to tell you, that Taino, they believed that the ancestors were known as the Opia. Okay, the Opia. That's the name for the ancestors. There were also another group of spirits that never had human form, and those were known as La Maboya, the Maboyas. Many Siguapas were Maboya, okay? And you could tell a Maboya because they did not have an umbilical, a belly button. They were never born. So an elemental spirit that was never born, never had. And you can see that this India does not have that. I requested that. They did not have umbilical cords because they never were born. They are elemental spirits. They were born in the elements. So a Siguapa is an elemental spirit. They often lived in the forests and in sweet waters, okay, rivers and lakes, and they are spirits of magic. They guard their magic very carefully. They were not trusting of humans. They seduced men very much. It is known, legends tell of how Siguapas would seduce men. Okay, so that represents that also. And in many modern cultures, there are spirits known as gritonas or lloronas within the Caribbean and some parts of Native American, like Mexico and stuff like that. They're very similar because the Siguapas are known as screeching spirits. When they often, you'll see them. They love to cry a lot. They're always shedding tears. A lot of people say they shed tears for the lost lives of the Taino and the Arawak and the Caribbean people. And some say that they cry, they shriek for help, and if you go into the woods and you try to help one of these women, they will seduce you, and it is said that after they seduce you, they will take over your soul. So many of these spirits can be very tricky. Okay, and these are part of Taino lore, Taino cultures that still exist today in many parts of the Caribbean, in our traditions, in our cultures, and in our belief systems. So I could not end the video without talking about las ciguapas, okay, which are forest spirits, fresh water nymphs, I couldn't say that word, sacred to them. One of their sacred tools is a horn made out of conch shell. And this is this right here, which is used often to call these spirits. Okay. This part right here represents the male phallic symbol, while over here, this represents the female. And inside is the womb. So often these spirits are called. This is the womb of the woman. So often these spirits are called, especially in nature, with an instrument like this. While the male spirits, the male native, especially the Opias, the ancestral Taino spirits, are called more with a maraca. Okay? So anyways, I just wanted to end this video with that. Couldn't end the video with that. It is May, and this vlog is going to represent Madre Ataveira, the supreme energy of the Taino spirituality, mother of Yukau. I'm going to paint that. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little bit more. This is Sancista Brujo Luis. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Hopefully I talked all up about what I wanted to talk about. And again, I'm going to leave a link down below to Terrie, the one who created this statue for me. I really thank you. It is a blessing. I'm going to go prepare her. It's spring. It is the time of the Tainos to give birth. And the sons of Yukahu are arising. And many blessings. Many blessings to you all. This is Sancista Brujo Luis. Santo Sanse.